All right, time to get serious. This is a real streamer fishing tip, and it is one that I express frequently. And so if you've heard it on my boat, you probably understand what I'm talking about. If you're gonna end up fishing with me, if you're fishing from a boat otherwise, I think a lot of applications in wade fishing as well. I do hope this helps. I want to eliminate a lot of problems that people encounter during the process of streamer fishing. And the idea is do something that is repeatable and isn't that hard, because we're gonna be doing a lot of it. And so we wanna get a process that allows us to have sort of a baseline. And then of course we can do all sorts of things, and there's always situations where it doesn't make sense. But as my baseline, there's a process in the cast, retrieve, backcast, cast, retrieve, backcast. So I'm going to go through that, and I'll highlight a few of the areas. And I'm going to start with the casting process. That starts in the backcast. So this process with the 7-weight, the sinking line streamer, it's 25 pound to 15 pound with a swivel, but somewhat unimportant, not very tapered, relatively stiff. It's not a 9-foot 2X or a 9-foot 5X. You know, starting with a big butt and tapering down, it's a couple feet, couple 3-4 feet, and it's heavy. So I like to look at kind of 4 different types of fly casting, at least in my periphery. We have dry fly casting. That is the 10 and 2 stop start. We have the nymph casting with weight, and that is sort of getting to this, but you need to keep an open loop or let it drop in the water, big lift up, and coming forward, we flick on that delivery. The rod tip way up. Higher up, buddy. Keep coming. Saltwater casting. The delivery with the intent of getting a lot of line out quickly and not much of a back cast. So it's kind of all, so those 3 categories, and that's normally heavier rod, floating line, and relatively small fly. So it's kind of, this is sort of a mix, but it's a unique type of delivery. And again, different ways to do this, but on the repeatability, that's in that baseline, and getting something that we're comfortable with and we want to be able to work on and repeat. You could hear it right there. I just did a little one. We'll get into the jerk strip versus not conversation probably now, but it'll take until tomorrow morning, or it's really quick. Jerk stripping can be good to elicit an eat. By definition, you have removed the opportunity to strip set. It's the end of the story. So stripping with your line pointing at tension, not necessarily the fly, but when your line lands, you're pointing at that tension and you follow that tension as the water moves. Again, like, this can be really difficult in a situation where you're doing something super swimmy, like a changer, a drunken disorderly, a swim bug, swing and D, whatever other swim flies are out there. The jerk strip can give you good action. Unfortunately, right here, 99% of the time they eat on the kill. So there's movement, strip, then there's in between movement, kill. So all of this is a process, and it's, at this point, I hate to sound like I'm throwing $10 words out there, but it's data driven. Like, I really came into this with open eyes, and I incorporated so much stuff from all types of tires, and like Kelly Gallup, Blaine Chocolate, Tommy Lynch. Man, I watch so much of Josh Varner stuff, Gunner stuff. There's Paul Monahan. There's so many people that influenced where I got. It's just at this point, given the amount of time I've spent on the water on my own and fishing and then watching the fish behavior, both from my own casting and from clients, you have to stop ignoring data at some point, and they're eating, or I'll sort of dismiss myself and say, oh, I just like to complete the story that way because it makes sense to me, and I'm just hungry for some sort of control in my life. But it is that. That's why we're here. It's about me. But it isn't that. They eat on the kill. They eat on the pause in between the strips. I like to change that up. I like the strips to be short and fast. Shout out Dave White, Anna Maria Fishing Guide. Go get your trip for tarpon. Short, fast. And so something that's missing in that short, fast is abrupt. I want fast. You're throwing darts, right? You're throwing darts in your left-hand pocket. It's not pulling. You're not pulling and pulling. You're doing short, fast. And you're introducing this, it's almost a recoil, but you're introducing super fast speed, but then an immediate release of tension. And so your fly is, and this is Clousers, Peanut Envies, the whole dungeon category, double bugger, all the swim flies, the changers. That kill, that full release of tension it's that moment. Right after that moment, I actually had a guy ask if it's right afterwards or right before you start the movement again. And I thought about it and I was like, that's a great question. I think it's in between, and you don't want to get caught with your pants down. And what that looks like is when you're doing the jerk strip and you're out here, now that's your super fast strip. Pulling out here, now you're coming back to get in position to set. And during that process, big movement, I'm slow motion, coming back and it's killed and you get an eat and you are f***ed. You have no opportunity to strip set. And wow, unless you're fishing a size 8 or a size 10 hook, if it's a trout over 12 inches that doesn't eat in a completely offensive way, you will not hook it. It just doesn't happen. Especially if you're getting 2 hook points and there's different tension. I mean, that set is pointing at that line of tension. A fish eats, strip, 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 kill, strip, kill, strip, kill, strip, eat. You're already strip, strip, kill, strip, kill, strip, kill, strip, kill, strip, kill, strip, eat.
Be real, like, oh.
And so this is, I'm jumping ahead here, but this is sort of the end goal, and we want to start at a place to get here. But we want to be in a position to have complete control of our retrieve. I'm moving down, I get an eat, boom, with the tension. This is a strip set all the way. And if they're coming at you and they're still shaking and you haven't really felt that thing, boom, boom. It's not the tarpon like, you know, you see it eat and it eats. Ah! I mean, if you can do it that quickly, more power to you. This happens very, very fast. And so oftentimes it is simply just that momentary tight line as you're pulling. But there's slack, there's water moving, there's so much stuff going on that this isn't a strip set. This does not, I just didn't move my fly. Just didn't move it again. Just moved it a little bit. So that strip set is, you get an eat, you've had some recoil, there's water movement, boom, that. And that one, I moved my fly about that much because water's sweeping it a little bit. All right, while I do digress, all of that stuff is important. Because it gets to, when we're here, I like to give a little check swing, especially in off-color water, but this has become sort of part of my cast. We retrieve it back in, and then I just move my rod a little upstream. And now I'm going to shoot line out the back. So that little process, it's probably a lot of muscle memory. I'm holding on to that line. You just heard that fly splat. Getting the fly up to the boat. I'm getting all my line, getting that distance out. Holding on to that line because now I'm here. Now I'm here and I'm stripping. Shooting line, holding on, splat, stripping. It's not this. So it's not that, oh, you're not going to have a chance to strip set because your hand's not on the line. You just didn't fit, unless they're eating a dead drifted streamer, which can happen. You just didn't fish. So you get 2 or 3 casts like that, and then you're starting to hurry up. Then you want to get it out there, and you're shooting, and you got a dumb luck, and you get an eat. And shut up, Ellis, right? It's like 8, 9 times out of 10, you shoot line with that weighted line, and you're... So you're not fishing that cast. It's really, really difficult unless you've just stumbled into a good angle. If you are shooting line, which happens, right? You need to get line out there on the delivery. Separate your hands. So you're coming in after you shoot. After you shoot, you're coming into your prayer hands. But you want to keep that out to the left because this is weighted. It reacts with the environment differently. It's heavy. It moves through the air in a different way. When you shoot and you're back here coming to your prayer hands, because it comes up with more momentum, it comes up this way and wants to get around the butt, around the reel. So if you're shooting, keep those things separated. But again, ideally, you're getting that retrieve close to the boat, giving some check swings, because a lot of times they'll follow that fly right up to the boat. And then it's shooting line out of the back, holding on nice and slow. That was a good cast right there. Not gonna lie. Not tooting my own horn, I would say that about anyone casting like that. And we can be very slow, very methodical. And what ends up happening is that the slower we go, the more control we have, right? Now we're going to backhand, and I need to get under a bush. We can start doing that with no guessing. And once you're there, okay, that's not far enough. I just let out a little bit of line, lifting that tip up. Perfect. So if you deliver that thing and it's not there, set up. Get that next shot going. I just shot line. Okay, final thoughts. On that back cast, when you are shooting line out, you are coming out low and your back cast is elliptical. So I will shoot line, come up in my back cast, and then deliver. Shooting line, coming around and up, coming back down. Shooting line low, coming around and up, and then coming back down. Watch just my hand. And when I say that, people immediately start looking at my fly. Eyes are up here. And that haul hand on that delivery, I'm ending with my rod tip in the water. Low, up, around, down. Low, up, around, down. Low, down. Low, coming up, coming down. Low, coming up, coming down. Low, coming up, coming down. If you can say that 5 times fast, you're probably not that gifted. I think that's low, coming up, coming down is not that hard. Shoot a little line out. And all of this doesn't, I'm being super exaggerated, but it isn't this. You're not doing the 10 and 2 hard stop. I can't do it. I'm still kind of wanting to haul with that left hand. Go nice and slow. Once it's coming out of the water, just give it a little more of a pull. Give it a little more of a pull. Give it a little more of a pull. Little pull, little pull. Tiny pull, bigger pull. Bigger pull, pull on the way down. Splat. So again, different than casting streamers or bait fish, whatever, for someone's, for saltwater fish. This is a different animal. Different than dry fly fishing, and it is not nymphing. So, retroactive trigger warning. I know this is a sensitive topic for many people, but over the course of a day, if you're able to do those little things, shoot line out, just take your time. Taking your time is the biggest one. Because there isn't timing necessarily. It's really letting that thing hang back there, because you get to load this rod up whenever you want to. You have more mass, and that haul can therefore be more of an impact whenever you want to. Do it. So the later you do it, we'll do a little fly tracker by my shoulder. We want to do some sidearms under bushes. And, you know, got the running line out, we got 30 something feet. Keeping that thing low, it's just scooting across the water. Scooting across the water, coming down. That's head level. Holding on to that line. All right, I'll shut up for now. It's time to mouse. One fish has been eating a fly over there quite happily for a few minutes. Book your trips. I'd say the website, but that's not why anyone's here. I'm on Instagram at Ellis Ward Guides. Call me. I want to talk. I want to talk to someone.